Today, we are diving into the dark side of ancient Rome, a world of brutal and bizarre punishments that may leave you shocked. From the gladiatorial arenas to public executions, the Romans had a way of dealing with crime that was both unique and terrifying. Let's uncover the spine-chilling punishments of ancient Rome. Ancient Rome was known for its advanced civilization. It was also a place where law and order were enforced with an iron fist. The Romans believed that harsh punishments were necessary to maintain the stability of their empire. In this video, we'll explore some of the most infamous punishments and what they tell us about Roman society. Let's get started. Let's begin with corporal punishments, which were physical penalties inflicted on the body. The Romans had a variety of methods, depending on the crime and the status of the accused. First up, we have flogging. It was one of the most common punishments for minor offences. The culprit would be whipped, often in public, using a flagrum, which was a whip made of leather straps with metal pieces embedded in them. This was meant to be both painful and humiliating. But the brutality didn't stop there. For more severe crimes, like theft, they might use branding. The criminal would be marked with a hot iron, often on the forehead, as a permanent reminder of their crime. Let's not forget mutilation. Certain crimes, such as forgery, could result in the amputation of a hand, ensuring the offender could never commit the crime again. Next, we have capital punishments, where the penalty was, death. The methods varied greatly and were often public spectacles. One of the most infamous forms was death in the arena. Gladiatorial combat wasn't just a sport, it was also a form of execution. Criminals, prisoners of wars, and slaves could be condemned to fight to the death or face wild beasts. For the worst crimes, like treason, the Romans reserved particularly gruesome punishments. Crucifixion was one such method, a slow and excruciating way to die. It was reserved for slaves and the lowest criminals, considered too dishonourable for Roman citizens. And then there's the infamous damnatio ad bestias, condemnation to the beasts. This was a particularly cruel punishment where the condemned were thrown to wild animals, such as lions or bears, in front of a cheering crowd. Not all punishments were physical. The Romans also had legal penalties that could ruin a person's life. Exile was a common punishment for those of higher status. Instead of death, a person might be banished from Rome, losing their property and status. This could be a fate worse than death for many, as it meant losing their place in Roman society. Another severe penalty was confiscation of property. This was often used against political opponents or those accused of financial crimes. The person's assets would be seized by the state, leaving them utterly destitute. Lastly, there was the punishment of slavery. Many criminals, particularly debtors, were sold into slavery, losing their freedom and being subjected to the whims of their new masters. The punishments of ancient Rome were harsh and often brutal, reflecting the values and fears of the society. They served as a deterrent, a form of social control, and a spectacle for public entertainment. While some of these punishments might seem barbaric to us today, they were an integral part of maintaining order in the vast Roman Empire.